Hello everyone, here is artofhdr.com and my name is Ali Ertürk and I'm here to demo you another HDR video. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 files, 7 bracketed images shown in Lightroom with 1 EV stops. So I would like to merge these files and make HDR in in Nik software. So select all of them, export. We will use Nik HDR EFEX PRO 2. So first thing is Lightroom is converting them into TIFF, importing into Nik software. And so I'm still using the demo version. Here you can see the first window is coming up. Will give you option to align, ghost reduction, and chromatic aberration. So here I have the water in the foreground moving. I would like to actually make ghost reduction. So this two stays already default, alignment and chromatic aberration. You don't play around with them much unless you have a strong chromatic aberration that you would like to adjust. This can be done in Lightroom too. So here just I would like to make ghost reduction, and in the foreground let's zoom in that we can see better, a little bit more light. That looks already good to me. So basically you can choose your different source, but to me 0 worked already fine. So there's the strength of the ghost reduction that would little make it more blurry. I assume probably opacity adjustment. Let's check with the number 2. The water will get smoother. I'm trying to see have more reflection here, because that was good with 0. See, this reflection I would like to keep. So let's say create HDR. So it's processing and it's going to give us some options to adjust presets on the left. FX Pro 2 has already some good presets. You can see I think this is already looking striking, this dip 2. This is more or less what I go most of the time. I adjust a little bit more the settings here. And so HDR method details looks already good. This would be too much. Drama, again, this will be too much. So if we reduce, so here it looks good. Tonality options, exposure, shadows, you can play around either with highlights and darken the shadows or open the shadows. And blacks, whites structure, it's kind of clarity in Lightroom, maybe very little. And also as last, maybe some saturation plus temperature adjustments. Do you want it? I want it a little bit bluish sky and a little bit, let's see here, a tick of purple. And then I think I'm happy with the settings. Let's save the settings, custom. I click custom and say, let's call this Hawaii, because it's from Hawaii. And what can we call this? Hawaii. The last R. So here is comes as preset. Now we save it and go back to Lightroom. And we will do a few adjustments there. Then we will move to Photoshop. Here what comes with Lightroom. So we can hide this tab, we don't need. And we go to Develop menu. And on the left is History. We can even close it. At the moment we don't need it. So white balance, I will just try auto. It gets a little bit out of my taste, so I like this, but I will probably again use this to do a composite. So I will use this one and this one, open them as layers in Photoshop, and then further process. Auto tones, again it created too dark, so I will do it manually. Maybe decrease the highlights, increase the shadows, or actually decrease the shadows, increase the highlights maybe a little bit. More shadow darkening. Whites and blacks, a little bit more blacks, a little bit more whites. Clarity, I don't go more than 30. It's really bringing too much structure. Let's make it 90. Color, vibrance is good. Always you can bring in some. And saturation, you can kick in some saturation of the sky, and you can really make the clouds rocking. And if you feel there is, for instance, too much saturation in blue, and we can go and particularly decrease the blue saturation to a level that it fits well with the rest. Something like this. And here there is a good, not good transition. Let's make this transition better. Maybe darkening the lights. So that looks good. So after here, I'm not going to do much more. So we can zoom in and look if there is anything that we need to correct from chromatic aberration. Here there are some people, maybe a little bit green here. Smart. And I click Y now, that it compares before and after. You see we already have great improvement. This is the HDR EFEX PRO result, and this is Lightroom result. Now we are going to move to Photoshop and there further edit it. So we will edit with Lightroom adjustment. It will open it in Photoshop CS6. I also installed just recently the demo version. So we don't need this dialog box. And let's start to work. I click Z and say fit screen. So there is a lot of dirt. First I want to get rid of those. Let's go to actual pixel and choose the spot healing tool and start from left corner and then just clicking the dirt. We want to get rid of all this dirty looking things around. Unfortunately in this photo there's a lot, so we will struggle a little bit to get a good one. Okay, that is not good. This is out, clean, clean. And those ones you can see, all those are from camera. I still have to clean my camera. Looks like it was pretty dirty at this time, unfortunately. So I'm holding space bar and then moving with the mouse. If we hold the space bar, it becomes hand tool that we can pan it around. Okay, it looks almost done. Here a little bit on the water, and this one. Oops, this didn't look good. Let's try it a little bit bigger. No, let's get drafted with the clone tool. Click S, and then sample with Alt from a neighboring part, and then back to J, which is pot tool. Here we have a bit purples, but we will deal with this later. And I think if we get rid of those, it will be done. All right. This one looks good enough. Click Z, fit screen, back. And now we will continue to work. Typical workflow of curves. Sorry, back. Start with levels. Take it auto. It always makes too bright somehow in CS6. I liked it much more in 6.5, the auto version. Somehow it's not really working in CS6. Alright, so I would just maybe keep it a little bit. I'm not really happy with it, but okay, that's okay. A little bit brightness came into play. Curve, I will make an S curve here. Decrease the midtones, and then I will go to brightness, contrast, add a little bit brightness, a little bit contrast. So we can see its effect. Oops, again, number 3 and 15 here. Okay, so it looks much better. So if there is too much darkening on the clouds, we can eliminate them just going here and then painting with brush tool. I click B and then foreground black and just paint in this very dark clouds. We don't want them to look too much dark. It looks then fake HDR. Okay, then let's copy this layer to others. I'm holding Alt or Option and then dragging it to other layers. Actually, in this one it should be white. Okay, that looks better. Merge, select all layers, Control E, merge the layers, Control J, duplicate the layer. Now we will go to dodge and burn, and using bracketing tools we can increase the size, and here is the strength 20. It's good, so I want a little bit light here. This part I have to actually darken because it looks awkward. So maybe I just want to highlight this green around the stone and water around the circle. We will enhance the reflection of water, and let's make this part a little bit more visible. So that looks good. Let's go to burn. Here I want to make it darker for sure. A little bit more strength, 40. Okay. That didn't look to me good. And through the sides, just maybe using dodge, I will make this transition a little bit better. Oops, use the dodge tool. Just trying to make it better transition. Actually, it didn't went so good, so I will just maybe hide some of it using the brush tool, 50%, and just choose the layer. Didn't look good. Okay, bit actually, like this. Let's go to choose the main layer, upper layer, and again, this time I will use the sponge tool to enhance the color on the reflection here. Let's make it 50%, 50% saturate. So we would like to saturate this colors at the reflections, the water and the sky colors, so we can saturate them or increase their colors. They will look much better. We will deal with this purple later on because there's too much purple here now. Let's decrease some of this unnatural looking blues. Too much blue in the clouds, it's not good. And I want to also decrease a little bit blues here. Very little, maybe with 10%. Okay, that's better. And we can also decrease a little bit purples. And I want to enhance the stones here a little bit more. I want to be like talking. Okay, so I think this is the result of touch and burn plus sponge tool. I like it. So merge the tools, merge the layers, Control E, then Control J to duplicate, and last I will sharpen. Go to Smart Sharpen, and I will use my typical settings, and then I will create layer mask, fill it with white, sharpening everything, then choose the brush, blue black. Now I will just remove the sharpening on the sky, especially these open areas where there will be a lot of noise. So I'm just removing those also here. And we don't want those, for instance, here, too much details. We can just hide them, make them unsharpen. Okay, so the rock should be sharpening very well. Yes, you can see here in the foreground how it increases. Okay, merge the layer, Control S, it will be saving now. And then we will say Control W, and then we will go back to Lightroom and export, and we are done. So it's saving now. And Control W, we are back to Lightroom. Let's see the menu open here. Okay, so this is the result from Photoshop, and this was before Photoshop. After Photoshop, you can see great enhancement of everything. The dirt are away and the colors are much more enhanced. So let's remove this and maybe a little bit desaturate the purple, particularly here. I'm okay here, but here it's a bit unnatural. I will choose the brush tool and then say saturation low. Now we can just go over this purple area. Of course, it's gonna also remove the color from the water. So therefore, we want to make it a little bit around. You can also remove this blue still from the clouds. They can look whiter and more natural. Yes, I think that looks good. We can remove the purple from the rock. A little bit here and then here. Okay, let's check the before and after. before, after. That looks good to me. So also we can compare it with the Y. So yeah, it looks better. And we will also crop it a little bit because the left part we don't have much information. Here it's completely useless. Actually, I will cut it to as square to the left. Let's click again Y, and maybe I will duplicate this, make a virtual copy, and then crop this one. Then I will just compare. Click R to crop, and crop from crop to, we can choose the 1:1, take it to the left, and now we can choose our area. So I want to get these rocks in this nice clouds and sunset and this reflection. This looks nice to me. Okay, let's export this. Maybe give a little bit vignetting. Okay, here we can just give it punch in vignetting. That looks good. Y to compare. Yes. And let's export this. Right click, export, and I will choose 800 and say Hawaii the last hour. Let's copy this name that we don't have to type it again. And I export my squares as 666 with screen sharpening. This goes to internet. And for print, I do export full size print and rename with full size FS, and the quality 90%, no resizing, sharpen for the paper export. Okay, we are done with this demo. I hope you liked it. Please keep following my demos. I will upload more and more. Thank you. See you in the next one.